Good evening. Welcome to SAFC Fan TV and Thursday Night Live. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Right, I could say, oh, we got delayed. Dino was late. Jacob's beat the polling station and he didn't get back in time. I could do all that, right? But I'm not going to. I'm not going to lie to you. We've just literally done 5 minutes of the show to ourselves. Right, we've done it. And then... Karen came in. And said, "We're not even live." So apologies.
Well done,
apologies.
Phil.
we wasn't late. My fault. All right, we wasn't late. It is actually my fault.
No,
so
Phil,
Thursday
what
night
you
live.
is we were late in style.
All right, something like that. So with myself, we have Dino. Dino gives a wave. Thank you. That I do.
We've done this already, where you say, how's your day been? I tell you.
All right, Jacob, how's your day? Dino, how's your day been?
As I told you before, I've been asleep all day, night shift.
Jacob, down in London. Jacob, have you had a good day?
Yeah, decent day. Just run back from the polling station to cast my vote for the new mayor.
Stop there, Jacob. We already know you've been voting for the new mayor of London. All right. Good man. And we were telling you that he's sexy. He is super sexy, Bowers, and the ladies just love him. So, Michael, have you had a good day?
Yeah, I'll wait. Just to clarify, before I continue talking, are we actually live this time?
We are live now. We are live.
Right, okay.
Oh.
I said, well, when I said off air, the only thing I cast my vote on was what I was having for tea, and I had a nice mixed kebab, and I'm, like I said before, content. Hopefully that's the last time I'm saying that tonight.
Fair dues. Right. Before we go any further, I do want to give a shout out to our new sponsors of the channel, which is the One Football app. If you haven't downloaded the One Football app yet, the link is in the description. Just download it. Only football app you'll ever need. All us lads are using it now. You get up to the minute news, the latest news on your club. There are live scores during all the games. You got the player stats, performance ratings. It's really in depth, superb app for you to use. All the league tables, everything is on there. Everything you'd ever need in a football app. So if you haven't got it yet, just download it from the link in the description. And once again, a big thank you to One Football for their sponsorship. So we are live. Eventually, we are live, which means the live chat is available to you. If you want to send us a message or there's any topics you'd like us to discuss, then by all means, chuck them in there and we'll see what we can do. We've got to give a shout out to Hugo out in Portugal. Thin SAFC is there. Robert Foster, John Forbes, Derek Atkinson, Jeff Holcroft with his blue spanner, all there already. Before we do start the subjects, I quickly want to tell you about we do play five-a-side on a Monday, and we played this week. And I'm injured, so I went in goal, and I had the worst performance of a goalkeeper ever seen on a five-a-side pitch. And if you want to know how bad I was, Terry actually scored 5 goals against us. That's how bad I was, because Terry is rubbish in his new boots. But CONRAD did also score the best own goal you'd ever see, and even Jordan Pickford wouldn't have saved that own goal. So that's he's the new own goal king, is our CONRAD. So lads, we're going to start basically Sunderland versus Northampton. This is on Sunday. It's the last game of the season. It's a 12 o'clock kickoff. Everybody plays at the same time. Already, we've got a playoff place. So I want to ask you, how important is this game to us? And should we rest players for the playoffs? Jacob, I think we'll start with you. Do we play a full squad, or our best team, or do we rest players?
I'm expecting Lee Johnson to chop and change the team a little bit on Sunday. I think he'll be looking at what will be our best system going into the playoff games and what players can slot into different areas that he wasn't expecting beforehand. It's all about getting the right balance, keeping some of his key men fresh for the 2 playoff semi-final games. But yeah, I'm expecting the likes of Ross Stewart to keep his place in the team. Chris Maguire, I think he deserves a start. Jack Diamond keeping his place, potentially moving out from being in the number 10 to potentially going on the flank to see how that turns out. But yeah, going into the final game, at least we've got a bit of breathing space going into it. But Lee Johnson, now it's all about having the right balance. What players he thinks could benefit with some minutes on Sunday, and which players he'd want to keep fully fit. I'm predicting the likes of McGeady and potentially Charlie White, Grant Ledbetter may be left out of this one once again. But then again, we should have a strong enough side put out to end the season in style. So whatever team he puts out, I'm sure Lee Johnson will look at the 2 playoff semi-final games and think, I will know my best and key starting 11 for them. But it's an experimental stage, I would say, going into Sunday's game, Philip.
Right, fair dues. We'll pass that around just now. Just very quickly on the chat, we want to give a shout out to Andrew Robbins. Two of our viewers I bumped into when I was delivering today, and Andrew Robbins was one of them. He says his wee Philly channeling he's in at Lee camp. Also, I bumped into Tony Lee, friend of the show. I was talking to him today, and Conrad says he needs to defend himself. He reckons that it was a back pass to the goalie and I let it in. He takes no responsibility. I assure you it was a definite own goal, and Dino will back me up on that 100%. Won't you, Dino?
Yeah, right in the bottom corner. Great finish by Conrad. Pity was in his own goal and not the other goal.
Right. So, okay then. So, Dino, we've already got a playoff spot. We're playing Northampton on Sunday. What do we do? Do we rest players? Do we, because players could get injured or anything like that, or do we go for it and see who we can finish as high as possible and get a bit of momentum going?
The game on Sunday is a nothing game. It's more like it's gonna feel like a friendly game because there's no purpose to it. We've got a playoff spot. Northampton are already relegated. It's one of them games where it's just a game to get done. You've got to play the game. If both teams had their way, they probably wouldn't want to play it because it's pointless. It's just a pointless game. So you use the game to experiment, bring in some young kids, maybe give Dan Neal a shout, Ollie Younger, stick Anthony Patterson in goal. Take some of your key players out, because the last thing you want going into the playoffs is to play McGeady and then McGeady get injured, like a one where he runs down the wing, he pulls his hamstring, or Jordan Jones running down the wing and he goes over on his ankle. Like you can avoid these little niggly injuries because you don't have to be challenged to get an injury. I've seen players jump up for a ball, head the ball, land on the floor and dislocate the ankle. I mean, it's possible. So take out the main players for that game and give the kids a go, give the players who aren't really getting a game a go. It's just an experimental game for me. I mean, Sunday's game's a nothing game.
Right, fair enough. Just very quickly on the chat, Aidan Kidd says he would start Ollie Younger. It's a fair point. I mean, we could give the kids a run out. I think the main thing is not picking up any injuries for the playoff games. Tom Wallace on the chat also says the SAFC Fan TV King is in the house. Who could that be? Good to see Conrad is here, mate. So a big fan of Conrad. Tom Wallace, friend of the show. Michael, what would you do Sunday? Would you rest players, play some young'uns, or is it all about getting some momentum?
It's a difficult balance. I don't envy Lee Johnson in that sense, but I think for Sunday, well, obviously, I think to an extent, Dino is right. It's a game that has to be played. It's a fixture that's fulfilling the actual calendar. It's the final game of the regular season. I do think the really crucial players like your McGeady's, your Wykes, potentially John Jones, maybe Grant Ledbetters and all that. I don't think there's any point in risking them for this game. I think, like I said, I would want a balance of resting your really key players for the playoffs, but still fielding a side that should be strong enough to beat a team that's already relegated. I wouldn't have. Well, I know that in a way I'm probably giving a bit too much respect to Northampton by saying this, but I would have preferred to be facing them when they're already down, as opposed to facing them when they have to get a result to stay up, to have a chance of staying up. I know that technically on paper we should be good enough to beat them regardless, but that would change quite a lot of things. It would mean that Northampton's going to run us ragged, run us into the ground, give everything they've got to, because they've got nothing to lose at that point. And although they've got nothing to lose now, obviously, but now with them already being down, I'd want us to try and catch them while they're on a low point, because morale's going to be low, confidence is going to be low, everywhere's going to be really low there at the minute. And the way they got relegated, they lost 3-0 at home. I know it was against Blackpool, but still, how you lose 3-0 at home, it's a pretty poor way to get relegated. Any relegation's poor, but especially a way like that. For me, I can understand maybe resting Lee Burge, Anthony Patterson, but I don't see Anthony Patterson starting. I could see Lee Burge getting rested. And, Ollie Young, to be honest, we've talked about it. I know we'll get onto this later, so I won't talk about it too much at the minute, but the likes of Ollie Younger, why not give him a go? This is a game against a side who, while they'll probably score 3 past us now about say this, they've scored the joint fewest goals of League One this season with Bristol Rovers with 40 goals each. That's less than a goal a game. So if you're going to play Ollie Younger at centre-half in any game, you're probably pick to play him in this one. It's a balance. I would like a strong enough team that would win the game, but I wouldn't blame Lee Johnson for resting the really crucial players for the games ahead, which are much bigger than this one.
I believe, Wyke and McGeady, have had these knocks, and though I believe Lee Johnson said that they could get some minutes on Sunday. It is a difficult one. The worst thing what could happen is, we play some players and we pick injuries up when we need them at the most crucial point of the season. David Spencer says on the chat, it's a meaningless match against the Cobblers. Chris Scott is saying we still want to finish third or fourth, so we play at home second. We'll get onto that in a short while. Robert Foster says we need a win on Saturday to give us some momentum. This is what we're saying. It's a difficult one because you keep winning. It's a good habit to get into, but I think protecting the players. It's first and foremost for me. Aidan Kidd on the chat says, can Vulcans play? Does anybody know? Is Vulcans fit? Can he play?
I believe that him and McFadzean are okay. I think that Lee Johnson had his press conference today, but I believe that they're both okay. So I would say yes, potentially. Right.
Okay. That's right. That's good news. Right. I want to give a shout out here to This is Marianne Carlo's husband. All right, Carl. Marianne's been admitted to hospital this morning. All right, so we want to wish her well at Smaller Lads. He's donated $5 on the super chat. Thank you very much. Please pass on our best wishes to Marianne. Massive supporter of our channel. Always donates via the super chat. So we do wish her well. And Carl, if please you can pass on our wishes to over in Boston, Massachusetts, because I know how to say it now. So just very quickly on that score, we do have the super chat enabled. It is free to use our live chat, but if you do want to donate to our channel, we've got loads of new plans for the future to try and build our channel. So if you want to contribute, it'd be much appreciated. It is purely optional, but very much appreciated if you do so. Right then, fellas, let's get a prediction for you for Sunday. I know it's a bit of a nothing game, really. But Dino, what do you think for Sunday? They're already down. They're already relegated, Northampton. What do you think a score could be?
2-1 Sunderland.
2-1. So you think it's going to be a fairly close one then? Jacob, I noticed you was on Cobbler's vlogs the other day, and I did start watching it, and I thought, you was on there 2.5 minutes before he introduced you, and we was all going, we want to hear our Jacob. He was left there while he had a little ramble on. Score prediction, Jacob.
Well, first, I'll say thank you for Matt for having me on from Cobbler's Vlogs, by the way, last night. 3-1 to the lads on Philly for Sunday.
3-1, nice,
3-1,
easy
sorry.
win. He's sexy. He's super sexy. Bowers. Prediction for Sunday.
I'm going to go Sunderland 3, Northampton 0. Actually, I think more than anything, I'd like to see us keep a clean sheet because I think we need to get. I think we could do with keeping one before the playoffs begin, and it'd be nice to get. And as much as I said that it's about, it's a balance of sort of resting key players. I do also still think we could do is keeping momentum going and just get another win. Can't harm us. Hopefully, can't harm us going into the playoffs.
Right. Okay, then I'm gonna. To be fair, I've just changed mine because I had 4-0 down, but I think there will be changes. So I still think we'll win. I still think we'll have a comfortable win. I'm going to go for 3-0, the same as Michael. We've got various predictions coming through there, but Conrad's prediction says, Conrad says, will there be an own goal of the month competition? Obviously, if there was, then he would win it. All right, then. So let's move on to the playoffs then. We already know the lowest we can finish is 5th. First of all, what I'll ask is, from the 3 teams, 3 teams are already in, which is obviously Blackpool, ourselves, and Lincoln. So of the other 3 teams, Portsmouth, Oxford, and Charlton, which one would you prefer to make the playoffs? Michael, do you want to start us with that?
Well, obviously, I mean, for context, I'll tell everyone's fixtures. I think Portsmouth have Accrington, which is on Sky, actually, which is fair enough because they're the team in 6th that are in the driving seat. Oxford, I think, have Burton at home, and then Charlton have Hull at home. And obviously, Hull are top of the league, but they've already won the league. So Charlton will be quite relieved about that, I would think. Who would I want? It's a toss-up between Portsmouth or Charlton for me, and I don't know why. I think I know people go, we beat Oxford twice. I think Oxford gave us a really good game. Well, I say really good. Oxford gave us some kind of run for our money before they went down to 10 men up here. We didn't have it all our own way. And there's just some superstition about the fact the way that things went on between Oxford and Sunderland at the stadium and like that. I don't particularly fancy playing Oxford again. I think Oxford are an underrated side. And I watched Oxford against Lincoln as well. Not before they played us when they beat them 2-1. They should have beaten them about 5 or 6-1. The amount of chances that they had. I think I probably would just slightly pick Portsmouth. Although Cowley brothers have got them into the playoffs, and I do think Pompey will finish in the playoffs. They still won't have been able to get their own players in yet, and they still won't have been able to fully implement what they want to do with the squad. And I think if we're going to have a chance to, if you watch Terry's video, if you watch his League One predictions, I'm sorry, Terry, I'm going to spoil this. He predicted a Portsmouth versus Sunderland final at Wembley. And in a way, I'd rather face Pompey. I think in a way that I'd want to face Pompey before Danny Cowley and his brother can actually really get their stamp on things. But at the same time, I wouldn't write us off against Charlton. I think that Charlton got quite fortunate in some ways when they beat us a few weeks back. Yes, we were poor second half before we scored, but they had one of the luckiest own goals ever go in their favour, and we should have been 2-0 up quite early doors in that game. So I'm only basing it on how they played against us, to be fair. But if I had to pick, I would say Portsmouth. Oxford's definitely the team I'd want to avoid, though, personally.
Right, fair enough. Quickly on the chat, Alan Robinson says it's important we finish 3rd or 4th, get home advantage in the second leg. Mick S is saying, when we've said about which team to play on Sunday, he's saying best side all the way, stop this tinkering. But we've broached on that anyway. Jacob, of the 3 sides still to grab the final playoff place, which one would you prefer, Portsmouth, Oxford, or Charlton?
I'll take any of them on, Philly. To be honest, mate, that's the attitude we've got to go with. I think when you're in the playoffs, you have to cut out the superstitious side of things, and whoever you get, listen,
easier
it's
said
all
than done.
about yeah, exactly. But I know a lot of managers today think about potential easier paths to the final finish. I know Southgate did that at the World Cup with England, but listen, at the end of the day, it's all about having the right mentality. And listen, you've got to beat whoever's around you to get where you want to be, and that's promotion at the end of the day. So listen, whoever we get, it's about getting the job done. But have we got the squad to do it? Of course we have. It's just about whether the players' attitude's right and whether we have like Michael's saying, the right mentality. I've touched this on the channel numerous times to get the job done. But you know what? I'm confident. Whoever we get, I think we can get to the final. But the final is a different kettle of fish.
All right, fair enough. Alan Walton on the chat says, not Charlton, playing really well. Dino, have you got a preference then on who you'd like to see grab the last playoff place, Portsmouth, Oxford, or Charlton?
I'd probably say Oxford because they've kind of came out of nowhere. I know so of Charlton in a way. I just think Oxford. I mean, they're a smallish club. They've done well this season. They got off to a bad start. I'm sure they were in the bottom four to start the season.
Yeah.
And they've just come out of nowhere. I feel like don't get us wrong. I do believe we can beat Portsmouth and Charlton, but the superstitions in it. When we played Pompey at Wembley, got beat. Charlton played them at Wembley, got beat. I'd rather see Oxford in there because we've never played them at Wembley, and I just feel
records are there to be broken.
Here we go, Mike. Yeah, Michael's going to tell you this as well. Go on, Michael.
No. There's a funny thing I'll notice. If it's Oxford versus Sunderland in the final, it's the playoff final of the last two playoff finalists. As in, we lost the 2019 playoff final, and Oxford lost 2020's playoff final. It's just a random stat that I thought I'd throw out there. Yes, I have much time on my hands.
Well, that's a rubbish stat. And whilst we're on about stats, once again, I want to give a plug to the One Football app, because if you want any stats, right, then that's the football app you need. And Dino will tell you this, all right, anything you need to know is on the One Football app. If you've got a player and you want to know how well he's doing, how many passes he's done in a game and stuff like that, you can find it all on this One Football app. It's amazing for stuff like that, honestly. So make sure you download that. It is in our link in the description if you want to do that, and it's the only one you'll ever need. Right, quickly, what I want to say is there's a few people saying on the comments, saying the second leg advantage, finishing third or fourth and stuff like that. And then people are saying it doesn't really matter because there'll be no fans and stuff like that. But I believe that fans are going to be allowed into the ground for the second leg. Is that right, Jacob? Do you know more on that?
10K apparently. 10,000 allowed at the Stadium of Light for the second leg if the protocols are in place and like the right safety measures are in place, then we could be seeing 10,000 at the Stadium of Light, which is brilliant to see. But yeah, let's just take one step at a time first.
Right. Well, what I'll throw out to you then in that case, then let's say we're allowed 10,000 fans in. That does in a way give the home team on the second leg an advantage over the team that played the first leg. However, I'll throw this to you, Dino, first. Having 10,000 of our fans in the ground, would that help us or would that hinder us?
It depends on the players, really, doesn't it? I mean, Charlie White's had a great season, and then imagine if the fans come in and he has a stinker and he turns to old Charlie White where he can't hit the barn door. I mean, it's one of them. Don't get us wrong, there'll be some players like Chris Maguire who would love to see the fans back. It just depends on your confidence levels when there's fans in the stadium, because like the White ones, it's been rocky from the start, but everyone loves Maguire. It just depends on the player. But you're saying it'll be an advantage. I mean, if we go to Oxford, and Oxford wouldn't even get 10,000 fans in. I don't even know what their capacity of the stadium is, to be fair. So, I mean, just because you're allowed 10,000. I've been there, but I can't remember what the attendance was. But I'm sure we had more fans in Oxford. No offence.
I'm sure that I think it's either 10,000 fans or it's a quarter of the stadium's capacity, whichever number happens to be lower.
That sounds more plausible there. I would imagine, Michael. Otherwise, if your ground only holds 10,000, it'll. I can't see them allowing a full football ground. Michael, what do you think? Do you think it could, could that give Sunderland a boost? But as we know, us Sunderland fans can quickly turn and get on players' back. So do you think it would be an advantage to us having fans in the ground? Or
short answer, yes, I do think it would. A longer answer, if we want to, because I'm going to fulfil my name of Stato. The last 2 seasons in League One, when Sunderland have had fans in the ground, we've only lost 1 home game each season in the league. I know we've had a couple of cup defeats at home and all that, but so 18-19 we lost 5-4 to Coventry. Last season we lost 2-1 at home to Burton. That side in League One, we didn't lose a single game at home when fans were there. This season, we've already lost to Portsmouth, we've lost to MK Dons, we've lost to Plymouth, we've lost to Charlton, we've lost to Blackpool, and there might be another home defeat in there, but I could be wrong on that. We've also, even if you just take that it's 5 and take my word for it that it's 5, and I could be wrong again, but that's more than double. Well, it's 5 times as much as what we've lost at home in each of the last 2 seasons. So for me, I do think the players have missed the crowd being there, but I do also get the argument that if someone misplaces a pass, fans tend to act like it's the end of the world, which is frustration. It happens. I would like to see us get the home leg second. I know, obviously, 2 years ago we had Portsmouth in the playoffs and we had the first leg at home. For me, the only way of us having the first leg at home is a good thing, and this is with force, with hindsight, which I'm not going to have until that game's played, is if we won comfortably. Which playoff games are very rarely won by a big margin. Certainly not after the first leg, anyway. Fleetwood won Wycombe 4 last year is the only one I can think of where one team had a commanding lead after the half-time in the 2-legged tie. But, I'd like to have the home leg second. I think as well that, again, having 10,000 of the fans, and especially if the fans are going to really make themselves known. And not to mention as well, this could feel like an event for those fans because it's been over a year now since the 10,000, whoever they're going to be at the Stadium of Light, have been at the Stadium of Light. I think that could really, in a perverse sort of way, that could really play into our hands if we wanted it to. Obviously, the first leg, if we're away to Lincoln or Blackpool or whoever it's going to be, if we're away first, obviously that team will be able to have fans in. But if it's a quarter of the stadium's capacity, they're not going to have as many fans as what we will. And our fans can be loud when we want to be. Whether it's a good or a bad thing is up to you. But yeah, hopefully we get the home leg second.
Right. Thanks, Michael. Just very quickly, want to give a shout out to the car enthusiast who's donated £4.99 via the super chat. Can we have a round of applause, please, for car enthusiast? And he says, big shout out to you lads and one football. I think it's time to get drunk again, is what he says. 10k incoming. And he says Hermes is a Poundland DPD. Thank you very much for that. So just very quickly as well, we've got 132 people on the stream. We got 61 likes at the moment. So if you just hit the thumbs up, that would be very much appreciated. Just hit the like button. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. It's free to subscribe. And on that point, I do want to say a massive thank you because we did hit 6,000 subscribers over the weekend. So once again, a round of applause to you lot for supporting the channel. It is very much appreciated. Right then, so well on to you, Jacob. Having 10,000 fans in the Stadium of Light for the second leg, would it be an advantage to us or would it hinder us?
We should hope so. To be honest, I fear more for the opposition coming here, to be honest. I mean, let's not forget it's been a long time since we've had fans back in the state, and the opposition, they could be pressured into making mistakes, to be honest, especially with the passion of our supporters. But at the same time, there's a lot of superstition amongst our fan base that if things can go badly, then our crowd tend to get on the players' backs too early on in the game for them to give the players enough motivation to turn this round. But listen, I think we need to forget about that, to be honest. To be honest, if I was a player in that dressing room right now for Sunderland Football Club, I'd be excited. I'd be counting down the days until the fans are back. And
Jacob, sorry, if you was a player for Sunderland in that dressing room, I would be absolutely amazed. But carry on.
Yeah, honestly, but yeah, I'd be so honestly. Is there a dog barking in the background there?
Karen, shut up.
Oh God, so no, I'll be buzzing.
No comment.
Yeah, but I'd use that as motivation to, hey, let's go and get the job done, and let's get to Wembley and use the crowd as the 12th man.
Right. Go on then, Michael. Quickly jump in.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, imagine the scenes at the Stadium of Light. We're at home in the second leg. We've got the second leg at home, and we've already won the first leg away from home. Imagine taking a lead back to the Stadium of Light, where you're then going to have 10,000 fans that haven't been at the ground for over a year cheering you on. Just like that there could not be bigger motivation than that.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, I was gonna go on, Dino, jump in again. Go on.
I see it on the comments. Our friend Tony Lee says, "How will they decide who's going to be the 10k fans who are allowed in?" And I've come up with a theory. I think there'll be 10,000 V's will be allowed in. All the V's.
Right, just very quickly. I mean, me personally, I think having the 10,000 fans in the ground would be a massive advantage. I really do. I just think, yes, it's still only going to be, less than a quarter full, but it doesn't matter. Like Miles said, it's been that long, since we've been there. I just think it would be an advantage. Different people on the chat saying, Bradley Young says, yeah, there'll be 10,000 at the Stadium of Light. John Swinney, our friend from New Zealand, says 10,000. Robert Foster, 10,000 as well. And we've got to give a shout out to Swan269, our friend from ESPN Plus in North Carolina in the US of A. Blackpool midweek then won their game. Charlton beat Lincoln, which has now put Blackpool into third place. Which one of the teams in the playoffs is the one you want to avoid? If you could have them sort of knocked out, in the semi, so you didn't have to play them in the final. Is there any one team who you fear most, Dino?
I'd rather avoid them all by going up automatically, but that's never going to happen. I mean, it depends. Like, for me, you're going to have to play two of the teams out of the four anyway, so it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, when it comes to the playoffs, form and everything goes out the window. It all becomes who wants it more, who's got the best tactics, who's going to set up the right way. And when it comes, like you say, playoffs, all your form goes out the window. It's like 3 cup finals, basically. It's 3 cup finals you need to get through. Consistency and all that goes out the window. You've just got to turn up and want it more than the other team and take your chances. Well, there's been that many times this season where we didn't win a game. I think I'm going to try and use an example. It was one of the games where Charlie Wyke could have had 2-3 goals, didn't take with chances. I think we ended up getting beat or drawn that game. Can you remember? I think it was Pim and goal.
Charlton.
Was it Charlton? Yeah. I mean, if you take them chances, it's a totally different game. So for me, just don't avoid anyone. We've got to play 2 of them at least, so it doesn't matter. You've just got to win. It's as simple as that. I don't care who we play.
Right, fair enough. Just quickly before I pass this round, because Marian Carlo's husband is asking Swanee, is the game being shown on ESPN Plus? So Swanee, if you're watching this, if you can reply to Marian Carlo and let them know if that's going to be showing over in America. Jacob, is any one team you would avoid? Or you'd like to avoid?
Listen, I'm the same as Dino. I would say all the teams that will finish in those playoff spots, they're all a threat, to be honest. I mean, they're in those playoff spots for a reason, so we can't afford to take one team lightly than the other. I think it's just purely focus on what we do. And going into these playoff games, I'd like to see players not being afraid to take risks. I mean, I touched this on Cobbler's vlogs the other night. the playoff games I've watched over the years, there's not been enough urgency, particularly in the final third. There's been too many players who've been too nervous to lose the game rather than put a stamp on the game and create chances in order to score goals. And listen, I think the 4 teams that will finish in those spots, I would say there's no such thing as what team is stronger than the other. I think it's just all about who wants it more. So I think we need to take that attitude on board.
Right, fair enough. Michael, is the one team you think we should be steering clear of?
Well, hopefully staying clear of the Sunderland over the last 7 games. If I had to pick a team, if I had to desperately pick a team, and by the way, I would put, just for the sake of picking a team, I'd pick Blackpool. But even then, the games that well, obviously I can't comment for the home game. You guys will have to fill us in on that one. But the away game, they literally won it because of a mistake. And I don't think that Blackpool have looked all that. Obviously, that's based off one game. They might be playing better than that in other matches. But like the others have said, 2 of the 3 teams that are going to be in the playoffs with us, we're going to have to play at some point anyway if we want to get promoted. And for me, like I've said many times, I think Sunderland's biggest obstacle is in there. Sunderland's biggest obstacle is their own mentality and their own fragility. And it's about how we deal with adversity. It's about how we deal with a setback if something goes against us in these games. It's about, like the other said, how much do we want it? How much do these players want? And I do believe on some level they play. And I believe on some level the players do desperately want Sunderland to get promoted. But I mean, how desperately do they want Sunderland to get promoted? Do they want to be the one who sends us over the line? Who's afraid? Who's not afraid to stand up and take responsibility? And that's why I've always tried to refrain from, when I've criticised the team, to try and not use the words not trying. Don't succeed at it always. But I try to use instead take responsibility. Who wants to take ownership of the situation? These lads, I think these players need to realise, and I'm hoping they do, realise they could even potentially become Sunderland legends. Now, that might be a bit of an extreme, considering we're in League One. But for where we are at the moment, these players at the very least could have the chance to be remembered. They're the team who won twice at Wembley. They're the team who got us promoted. They're the team who provided the first moment of happiness that we've really had for goodness knows however many years. So I know I'm waffling on here, but if I had to pick one team, Blackpool, I think Blackpool would give us a tough game. I know I'm going to contradict myself here, but I do ultimately agree with the other 2. We've just got to take care of ourselves. It's our own mentality and fragility that could stop us going up.
Right. I mean, I'm just thinking about, you're saying that this team could become Sunderland legends. It just, for me, I think it just shows.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, I was exaggerating a little bit there, but they could be remembered quite fondly if they are the ones that win the playoffs and get us over the line.
Okie doke. Just quickly on the chat, Anthony Perth, when we said about, how would they decide which 10,000 fans would get these tickets? Anthony Perth saying they'll allocate the tickets to those who activate their codes to stream matches, those that didn't get the money back, which I think is probably right and probably the right thing to do, really. There's always going to be unhappy people who are going to miss out. Go on, Michael.
Does anyone know how many people renewed season cards for this season? Even if they did get them, does anyone know what the figure is? Because I'm sure I heard it was somewhere around 11 or 12,000 that we got. But if that's the case, how are we going to decide out of that lot?
I don't know. I mean, the thing is, some people will complain it's not fair. I mean, I didn't, during COVID, I couldn't. The simple fact, I couldn't afford to, to renew my season ticket and didn't. But that was purely financial reasons. That if the money had been there, I would have done it. I've always had my season ticket, so I could complain that, well, it's unfair because it's because of COVID that I didn't do it. Otherwise, I would have done. But and these people who did sort of still pay and didn't go were obviously in a fortunate position financially to be able to do that. But again, there's always going to be complaints over it. I don't know what they will do. Interesting comment from Martin Smith, though, has come in. And quickly, Thomas Carrigan says, in answer to your question, Michael, he's saying 12.5 12,500.
Okay. Thanks, Thomas.
He's saying so. Martin Smith is saying, is Will Grigg available in the playoffs? So, I mean, is he still our player, isn't he?
I'm pretty sure the loan ends at the end of May or the start of June, like officially ends around about then. So I'm going to say no, but I might be wrong.
You can extend his tenancy down in Milton Keynes, mate.
Yeah, but we surely at any point in this, I mean, this is a little bit silly talking about this because it's never going on just because he happened to score 4 goals the other week. But it's that thing of surely there's when it's a loan period, we can recall that player at any point. Can we not? Jacob, you want in?
Well, this is especially with what's coming out this week. If we face Blackpool potentially in the playoffs, then because isn't Ethan Robson and Elliot Embleton currently on loan there?
Ethan
Robson's a free
permanent.
agent.
Elliot Embleton's there on loan.
Is it only Embleton?
Yeah.
Yes.
So we'd want to. There's talk. We want to bring Embleton back so he doesn't have to play for Blackpool, but he won't be allowed to play for Blackpool anyway. Right? Yeah.
No, I'm sure there'll be something in the agreement that says, he can't play against us. That's normally the case.
That's how loans work anyway.
Yeah, it has happened in the past where players on loan to another club have played against that club. I think it's something that is agreed between the clubs when they agree the loan deal.
Well, I'm positive. I've seen a loan player score against his actual parent club, and even the commentator says, "Why would you allow your own player to play against you? Because that's embarrassing if he scores against you. Because it is. Because you're loaning them out.
The only time I can think of where a loan player has played against his parent club was when Chelsea played Atletico Madrid, something like 7 years ago, and it was Thibaut Courtois, I think, was on loan at Atletico Madrid from Chelsea, and I think Chelsea said if you pay, I think it was like a £5 million extra fee or whatever it was, I might be wrong on that he could play against her. But apart from that, I can't think of any other examples. There probably will be some. I just can't think of any.
Right, well, on that, Marley, where we at? Marley Gibson says the AFL cutoff is April. We can't get any loan players back. But again, it's one of them things. I mean, it's it was a question what came up in the chat, so we threw it out at you. Right, it was announced today. There are 4 new board members have been announced by KLD. One being his twin brother, but the one. What I want to ask you about is Juan Sartori back on the board. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? With him being part of the old regime, and I know even though Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven have still got their minor shares, having a seat on the board will give them a little bit, a bit of a say, really. So is it a good thing or a bad thing, Sartori sitting on the board? Dino?
Well, Sartori still owns a certain percent, doesn't he?
20%, I think.
Yeah, well,
I mean...
Yeah, but so does Stuart Donald and Charlie Methven.
I mean, I'm not being funny. Like, whatever happens in the boardroom, I'm not an expert on this stuff. I don't know who these people are, so let them crack on. I'm not going to pretend, I know these people. I know how much they're worth. I know what they're going to bring. I don't have a clue about boardroom level. That's not my area of expertise, if you want to call it. I don't really care what happens in the boardroom. All I care is what happens on the pitch. So talking about this subject really just gets me de-interested because I don't have a clue. All
right, then. Well, if you want to... Dino, you climb into bed for while we just discuss this and have a little nap there. Michael, Juan Sartori place on the board, is it a good thing or a bad thing?
Well, it depends because we've been we've heard all. Well, obviously, when Stuart Donald first took over at the club, we kept hearing about, oh, Juan Sartori's good for this. Oh, he's done this, that, and the other. Well, being brutally honest, all I've seen him do is get drunk on camera and have a big smile in front of Netflix cameras. That's all I've literally seen Juan Sartori do. I haven't seen him put his stamp on things with the academy. I haven't seen him. I don't think. I mean, this is, by the way, this I haven't seen it. Doesn't mean it hasn't happened. I just haven't seen anything of any sort of investment he's put into the club. Of course, remember though. I mean, I don't know if these rumours are ridiculous, but there was a rumour he paid like £1 for his shares in the club. I mean, that's pretty embarrassing if that is true. But I'd like to hope it isn't. It could be good. It depends with his connection. It depends on how Juan Sartori is utilised, and if we're going to use his connections. I mean, is his father-in-law, whoever it is he still connected with? Is it Monaco, or have I got that totally wrong?
I think so. I don't know.
I'm sure he's got some sort of connections with a club that's been in Europe. So I don't know. It depends. It depends what he's wanting to do. But there must be. What I'm thinking is there must be a plan for him being there. Otherwise, I can't see why KLD would want to have him amongst it and being appointed to the board. There's got to be some purpose there for him. But I do wonder if that is the case. Why has it took nearly 3 years of him being at the club to actually start doing something with Sunderland? I know he's had his presidential occupation in Uruguay and all that, or Uruguay I think it is anyway. But either way, like I would have wanted to see more from Sartori before now.
Well, to be honest, if if Sartori's link was with Monaco, then that could answer the questions, because obviously KLD's links there, so they've probably worked together in the past. I quickly want to jump on this before I throw it to you, Jacob. SAFC on the chat says no loan player ever scored against Sunderland. So Dino, stop lying. Dino, you didn't
when
say.
Did I ever say Sunderland player? I say the other teams. Like CONRAD mentioned it. CONRAD actually, it was Coutinho for Bayern against Barcelona when he was on loan in the Champions League. I've never mentioned Sunderland, so crack on.
Yeah, I didn't hear him mention Sunderland.
So just to pull you up on that, SAFC, he didn't say an on-loan player had scored against Sunderland, but we just wanted to point that out to you. Jacob, Juan Sartori, place on the board, good thing or bad thing?
Listen, I can understand Michael's concern. I mean, the last we saw of him was having a good time in front of Netflix cameras, but it's a fresh start. I think he's got a more knowledgeable team around him this time, not a team that enjoyed Netflix cameras a little bit too much in and around them. But listen, it's fresh start. Working under Kirill Louis-Dreyfus could be a positive sign for the future. Completely different ideas, and the ideas that he'll have as well being on the board, they can link up well together. And also good to see, is it Kirill Louis-Dreyfus's brother being appointed to the board, to the board as well? Maurice, yeah. I think that's what he needs. I think he needs to build that good, solid relationships and knowledgeable relationships in terms of understanding business in football around him for the club to progress. And Stephen Davison, I actually know someone who's met him before. He comes across very well. He has bright ideas.
Hang on. Brilliant snooker player. Is it not him?
No, it's not him, no.
Oh, sorry. All right. Go on then. Carry on.
Was I saying, someone I know that's met him. He comes across brilliantly. He understands what the fans want. He's actually a passionate Sunderland supporter as well. So I think him on the board is just what we need. Someone who, coming from a fan's point of view, that can get the negativity and understand if there is negativity and address that in the boardroom. But listen, I think that it will be the start of potentially more changes at the club over the next few weeks. I think it could all depend on what division we're in, but you have to see it as positive signs so far. And if this is what Kirill Louis-Dreyfus wants in terms of how he thinks the club is going to progress in a better way, then that bring on whatever ideas the new boardroom has to offer.
Right, fair dues. Craig S on the chat says Juan's father-in-law owns a team in Belgium as well. Again,
okay.
I don't know myself, but if you want to, someone might know it in the chat, they can confirm that. All right. What I want to ask then, don't forget, of course, we are still, we've got 144 people watching the live stream. If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, give us a like. Just do that. It'll take you a second. It's free. If you're on a mobile device and you've got the live chat open, just close the live chat. You'll see the thumbs up. Give it a quick hit there. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, it's absolutely free to do so. Just hit the subscribe button. We're already over 6,000 subscribers. So thanks to you lot for that. Right, what I want to put to you guys. How happy are you with the season so far? Then I mean, it's nearly over now, and I think at the start of the season, I think Dino was saying we wouldn't even make the playoffs and stuff like that. So the lowest we can finish is 5th place. Overall, are you happy? I mean, listen, we all wanted automatic promotion. But considering how you felt at the start of the season going into this campaign, how happy are you? Dino, we'll start with you then. Are you happy that we're going to finish at least 5th?
Well, you know me, Phil, I'm never happy. I'm a dominator. But on the whole, from what I said at the start of the season, I've got to be happy because I said we wouldn't make playoffs. So making playoffs, obviously, for me, is an achievement in itself because of where we were and how we were playing and where the club was going. It's disappointing at the same time because we could have got automatics and we ended up bottling it by we last, was it 7-9 games we played? We bottled that. I mean, so on that note, it is very disappointing. But on a positive note, I mean, you've got to look at what's happened to the club this year with COVID and everything. We've got new owners, no more Donald. I know he's still on the boardroom, but we've got a new man in KLD. We made some good moves in the in the summer in the January transfer window, bringing the likes of Dion Sanderson in, which I hope he does sign a permanent deal because he's been a cracking little player. Ross Stewart looks like a decent little buy. Jordan Jones has been a breath of fresh air. I was going to get that mixed up. So on a whole, yeah, it's had its like disappointing moments this season, but on a whole, it's been quite positive with some of the moves off the pitch, and from me saying we wouldn't make the playoffs to making the playoffs. So for me, it's been a bit of a successful season in my and forgetting we won the AFL trophy as well. So
basically, yeah. So even if we didn't get promoted through the playoffs, you would still be happy with this season then?
Well, if you're in the playoffs, you've got to win it. So, but I don't believe I know it sounds horrible, but I don't think we're good enough to win it. I just don't.
No, that's fair enough, Dino.
Fair enough.
Jacob, overall, are you happy with the season?
I would say relatively satisfied, to be honest. I mean, you have to take into account the position we were in when Lee Johnson first came in. Was it 6-7 points off top 2? And we were even in the top 6 by that point. And he had a COVID outbreak in the squad he had to deal with midway through the season. And he managed to get the team going on a fantastic run, even had players playing out of position. But it was the manner, the way how we threw it away towards the back end of the season, which is massively disappointing. But listen, we've got a trophy in the cabinet. I know it's only the Papa John's, but I still stand by, if you're going to win the Papa John's, you have to use that as a confidence boost to say, hang on a minute, let's get the main job done, and that's win promotion. So I think, to be honest, this is the sort of conversation we should be having after the playoff final. But asking me now, Philly, to be honest, yeah, relatively satisfied, but disappointed in the way how we've blown it in the last 7 or 8 games, not finishing top 2.
All right, thanks, Jacob, for dissing my question down there. Which, to be fair, when I put it in our group chat today, has anybody got something they want to bring up? It's one of you lot who's asked it anyway. But Michael, considering how you felt at the start of the season before we kicked off, the lowest we can finish is 5th. Are you happy with this season overall?
At the start of the season, I said we would get playoffs. I said we'd get 6th. So based on that, I should be content with it because but the worst we're going to finish a position higher than I actually thought we would. However, that's what I honestly felt would happen at the start of the season. It's not what I would have considered a good season for Sunderland at this level. For me, a good season for Sunderland at this level is winning promotion. Now, if I could answer... If you're talking just based on the regular season, so I can't really answer how I'd feel properly until after the playoffs are done. If we win the playoffs, very happy with the season. If we don't win the playoffs, then for me, it's another failure. Because while we've won the Papa John's Trophy, while we've won at Wembley, and there have been good moments under Lee Johnson. And by the way, I will stress, even if we don't go up, I'm not Lee Johnson out by any means. I think he needs the summer, and I think he needs to get his own team for next season. He definitely does. I think he's definitely done more than enough to deserve that. However, every season for me that Sunderland are in League One and we don't get promotion is a disastrous failure. It's one that, and either people can say it's because the players aren't good enough. Well, if that's the case, then that's also a failure because we should be having players in this league for me that are good enough to get promotion. If you take it, I mean, it depends how you judge the season. After Phil Parkinson left, I'm sure we were something like 8th or 9th in the league, but we were only a couple of points off the playoffs. So for me, we were never really totally out of the playoff picture, at least on a mathematical level anyway. Whereas Lee Johnson's obviously got more of an attack-minded approach to games, which for me is what Sunderland should be having in this league. So say Sunderland finished between third, well, obviously it's going to be between 3rd and 5th. For the season as a whole, if you take the regular season into it without looking at the playoffs, without looking at the EFL trophy, it's just on par, maybe slightly below for me in terms of where I think we should be aiming for. But I can only really answer that question properly once the playoff campaign is done. You muted yourself, by the way,
You're
Phil.
on mute, Phil.
You've muted yourself.
I am on
Goodness
mute.
me, he's
Sorry
got the
about
live
that.
thing messed up and now he's muted himself. What a night he's having.
Oh God, I'm just having a mare. Honestly, at first it was me and Goal on Monday night and me on the stream this Thursday. Just very quickly on the chat, Robert Foster says Donald and Metvan are not on the board. We know they're not on the board. What I was trying to say was Juan Sartori was part of that sort of regime. Trevor Dudin says he agrees with Dino. He doesn't think we're good enough. He hopes that he's wrong. For me, the season overall so far, no, I'm disappointed. I thought we'd have won this. Would have won this league. I'm always positive anyway. So, you know, to finish where we have, I'm glad we're in the playoffs. And if we go via the playoffs, I've always said, though I've never experienced it, there's probably no better way than going up than winning the playoffs, because you know it's that big thing, and to win it just great. But if I'm being honest, and like I say, I'm the most positive person on here. I think I agree with Dino. I don't think we're good enough, and I'm shock horror. I don't even think we'll make the final, and I hope and pray that I'm wrong. But I just think we are so off form.
Jacob agrees with that, I can tell.
Well, no, is this a new Philly? It's unlike Philly.
No,
I know. I must admit, I was surprised. Like
we've broken the hoodoos and everything, the winning at Wembley and stuff like that. Just I've not got good vibes about it. But on the other hand, I always have good vibes about everything else, and it never ever happens. So it could be a good thing.
Right, I'm taking that as a positive then.
There you go. Dino, was you trying to get in there? Was that wind?
No, keep going, Phil. I don't know what I was going to say. I think I was just scratching my head.
Right, okay. Philly, the new Doominator, Jeff Allcroft says, no, I don't think so. Right, well, look, it just about wraps it up from us. Don't forget, we do
I want
like
in now, then. I want in.
Go on, then. Go on. Get in there.
I didn't realise what ending. Well, obviously, we're ending. Thank you for the super chats from Marianne Carlo. I hope she gets better soon. And the car enthusiast, thank you for your donation. Much appreciated. And can I just say one more thing as well? Wigan Wanderers, welcome back to League One.
Oh,
Do you know what?
Let's not go into that
win.
again.
I
Don't
want
even-
Wickham to
don't
win
even-
11-0 on Saturday, and then one
Yeah,
Derby
they're down.
on
They're not- that's
Wednesday
not
to get relegated.
Not happening.
oh, listen.
So, Dino, are you saying
Listen.
the highlight of your season is Wickham Wanderers finishing bottom of the Championship and
Nah,
going straight back down to
they
League
shouldn't have
One?
went up in the. They shouldn't have went up in the first place. So it's just
Let's not get into that
deserves
Wickham
to come
Wanderers
back down.
argument
You know what I mean?
2.0, like.
No, that's
let's just hope we swap places. Let's hope we swap
Yeah, fingers
places.
crossed. Hopefully
That's,
we're in the Championship.
Well, look, that's for another show. We can have a full show out of that. Before we do go, though, once again, we want to give a shout out and a big thank you to our sponsors of the channel, the One Football app. Once again, it's the only football app you'll ever need. It'll give you all the information. Going into a busy summer of sport, it'll cover all that for you. There's a great feature on there as well for transfer news, but it also gives you transfer rumours as well, so you can check that out and rumours of such and such going to somewhere and things like that. So that's a good thing to follow through the summer. Of course, it gives you all the league tables, all the live scores as football is going on. So check that out. It is the only football app you need. We're all using it and we love it. It's the One Football app, and it's available to download for free in our description below. The link is in there. So that really is it, fellas. We will be back on Sunday, where we are doing a live stream of Sunderland versus Northampton, of course, the last game of the season. So make sure you tune in for that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. It's free to subscribe. So from myself, Wee Philly, from Dino in the dark, give us a wave, Dino. That's him. From Jacob down south, and from Super Sexy Bowers for the ladies, from Michael. That is it. That is it. Thank you. And we will see you on Sunday for the final game of the season. I will see you then. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.